She had never lost. Not once. 42 fights. 42 wins. 37 knockouts. Men heavier than her, taller than her. Champions who laughed before the bell and didn't stand after it. And now in Bangkok, she was calling out Bruce Lee. Not quietly. Not privately. "Fight me," she said. "Or admit you once fight a woman." The ring was already packed before Bruce arrived. Not with fans, with judgment. If he won, they would call him a bully. If he lost, they would call him exposed. There was no safe outcome. Only a ring, only witnesses, only one bell. And when Bruce Lee stepped through the ropes that morning, Bangkok realized too late, this wasn't the fight they thought they were about to see. The ring lights came on before sunrise, harsh, flat, unforgiving, the kind that didn't care who you were before you stepped inside. Bruce Lee paused at the edge of the canvas. One hand touched the top rope briefly, not for balance, just contact. The rope vibrated once, then went still. There were no cheers. The crowd wasn't here to celebrate. They were here to judge. Across the ring stood Lena, barefoot, centered, still. She didn't bounce, she didn't stretch. Her hands were already wrapped, resting calmly at her sides. Her posture said everything. This wasn't excitement. This was routine. Men had stood across from her before. Bigger men, louder men. None of them were remembered for long. Bruce stepped through the ropes, slow, controlled, no eye contact with the crowd. No stare down for effect. Just one step onto the canvas, then another. He rolled his shoulders once and let his arms hang loose. Someone near ringside leaned forward and whispered what everyone else was thinking. There's no winning this for him. If he fought hard, he said be condemned. If he held back, he said be exposed. The referee entered the ring and began his checks. His hands moved quickly. His eyes didn't linger. He explained the rules because that was his job, not because either fighter needed reminding. 5 rounds. Clean strikes. No spectacle. Lena nodded once. Sharp. Efficient. Bruce nodded too. Slower. Intentional. They returned to their corners. The ring filled in around them. Trainers, fighters, men who only showed up when money or history was involved. Conversations died mid-sentence. The space between the ropes felt tighter now. Bruce raised his hands. Open palms, relaxed wrists. No challenge, no apology, just readiness. Lena shifted her stance by inches. Weight forward, eyes locked on him. The first movement was coming. Everyone knew it. The bell rang. Lena attacked immediately. A low kick snapped toward Bruce's lead leg. Fast.
8. Accurate.
He checked it cleanly. Shin met shin. The sound cut through the ring. No counter. She came again. Hands this time. Jab. Cross. Bruce slipped both by fractions, never leaving range. His eyes stayed on her shoulders, not her fists. 3 seconds passed. Too long. Lena stepped in with a knee meant to force dominance. Bruce turned just enough for it to glance. For half a breath, he caught her balance, then released her. That pause hit harder than a strike. The crowd shifted. Someone stood without realizing it. The ring had asked its first question, and Bruce Lee answered without throwing a punch. The challenge didn't yet arrive with noise. No cameras, no witnesses, just a folded sheet of paper placed on a table while Bruce was between takes, the room around him busy with people pretending not to watch his reaction. Bangkok. A ring, one name, and a sentence written to leave no space. Fight Lena, or explain why you won't fight a woman. Bruce read it once. Then again, he didn't change his expression the second time. He folded the paper slowly, the way he folded everything that mattered. Someone nearby laughed at something unrelated. A light stand was adjusted. The world kept moving. Bruce didn't set. She steps undefeated, his assistant said carefully. Real fights, men, not exhibitions. Bruce nodded. That detail mattered more than the challenge itself. Linda stood a few steps away, watching him from the side. She knew this silence. It wasn't uncertainty. It was calculation. A public trap, she said. Yes, Bruce replied. If you refuse, the cell say why. And if you accept? Bruce looked up then, not at her, but at the space in front of him. The ring was already forming there in his mind. Ropes, canvas, distance. They still say why. He stood and walked toward the mirror at the edge of the room, not to check his face, to check alignment. Feet under shoulders, spine straight, breath steady. He adjusted nothing. This isn't set about strength, he said quietly. It's sets about control. Linda crossed her arms. Control of what? Of myself. The assistant hesitated. Media will want access. Sponsors too. This will turn loud fast. No cameras, Bruce said immediately. No promotion. No spectacle. A pause followed. That defeats the purpose, the assistant said. Bruce folded the paper again, neater this time, and slipped it into his jacket. Exactly. Linda searched his face for pride, for irritation, for fear. There was none. If I refuse, Bruce said, I turn her work into a joke. If I accept recklessly, I turn myself into one. Another silence. He let it sit. Tell them yes, he said finally. Bangkok. One ring, real rules. Linda exhaled slowly. And the outcome? Bruce met her eyes. I don't choose outcomes, he said. I choose responsibility. As he walked back toward the set, the decision followed him. Not dramatic, not heroic, heavy, unavoidable, and already waiting for him in the ring. She didn't start in bright rings. There were no lights, no ropes polished for show, just old canvas, loose boards underneath, and rooms that smelled like oil and damp air. Lena learned early that attention was a disadvantage. If people noticed you, they questioned why you were there. So she kept her head down. Her name wasn't spoken much at first. When it was said wrong, sometimes on purpose. She didn't correct anyone. Correction required permission. She trained with men who assumed she would leave. Most of them did eventually. She didn't. She stayed through bruises that didn't fade, and mornings where standing felt optional. She learned which pain meant damage and which pain meant progress. The ring taught her the difference quickly. Her first real fight wasn't announced. It happened because someone underestimated how quiet she was. The man across from her laughed when the bell rang. He stopped laughing before the first minute ended. Not because she was faster, because she didn't hesitate. Every movement had a reason. Every strike arrived where weight already was. After that, doors opened without being invited. Lena fought men who were taller, men who hit harder, men who promised finishes they never reached. She didn't chase knockouts. They happened when opponents tried to take shortcuts. Word spread the way it always does in fight circles. Slowly at first, then all at once. Undefeated. No excuses. No rematches requested. The ring didn't care that she was a woman, but the people around it did. Every win came with the same pause, the same uncomfortable recalculation. Does this count? Lena answered by coming back again. She didn't build a persona. She didn't speak into microphones. Her reputation came from corners that went quiet when her name was mentioned, from fighters who looked past her once and didn't again. By the time Bangkok stopped pretending she was an anomaly, she had already outgrown the argument. She wasn't fighting to prove women belonged. She was fighting because the ring made sense to her, because pressure was honest, because silence after the bell told the truth. Bruce Lee's name reached her the same way all names did, as something to measure. She watched film once, twice, not the performances, the transitions, the moments between movements, the way he didn't waste effort. This one is different, someone told her. Lena didn't respond. She sent the challenge anyway, not as an insult, as a test. And when the answer came back yes, she didn't smile. She started training harder. The ring was full before anyone announced it was ready. Not with fans, with opinions. Trainers leaned forward on their elbows, whispering in short bursts. Fighters stood with arms crossed, eyes fixed on the canvas, already deciding what this meant for their own world. Men who only came when money or reputation was involved found places close to the ropes. Lena entered first. No pause, no acknowledgement of the noise around her. She stepped through the ropes and went straight to her corner, resting her forearms on the top rope, eyes forward. This was familiar ground. The crowd didn't change that. When Bruce followed, the sound shifted, not louder, tighter. People stopped talking mid-sentence. Someone near ringside shook his head slowly, as if seeing the problem clearly for the first time. This is a mistake, a voice said, quiet, certain. The referee called both fighters to center. He spoke quickly, like someone trying to finish before being interrupted. 5 rounds. Clean strikes. I stop it if I have to. Lena nodded once. Bruce nodded too. They touched gloves. Brief. Functional. No message sent. As they stepped back, The crowd did what it had come to do. They chose. Some leaned toward Lena, certain pressure would break him. Others watched Bruce closely, waiting for the moment he would either prove something or lose control of it. The bell rang. Lena moved first. She didn't rush. She closed distance in a straight line, testing space with a low kick that snapped into Bruce's leg. He checked it cleanly. No counter. She followed with hands. Short. Sharp. Bruce slipped inside inches, never leaving range. He gave ground once, just once. The crowd reacted to that more than the strikes. Lena stepped in with a knee meant to force a response. Bruce turned with it, letting it glance, catching her balance for half a breath before releasing her again. No punishment. A murmur spread. Confusion. Frustration. She pressed harder. Another kick landed clean. The sound echoed. Bruce absorbed it and stayed planted. His face didn't change. That did something to the room. The bell cut through the tension. Round one ended without damage, without dominance, without clarity. Lena returned to her corner, breathing harder than expected. Bruce walked calmly, hands loose, eyes steady. Between them, the ring held something unfinished, and everyone watching felt it. The second round didn't wait for permission. Lena stepped in the moment the bell rang, closing space faster than before. No testing now, no patience. She drove a kick into Bruce's body, solid enough to draw sound from the canvas when he shifted with it. The crowd reacted immediately. A sharp inhale moved through the ring. Bruce absorbed it, turned his shoulder, stayed upright. Lena followed with another kick, lower this time. It wrapped the muscle clean. Bruce checked late. His leg dipped for a fraction of a second before he settled again. That fraction mattered. Someone stood up. Someone else swore quietly. Lena felt it too. The strike had landed, properly. She pressed forward, hands coming now, compact and efficient. Bruce slipped the first, took the second on his guard, then stepped across her line. Not back. Across, his lead hand snapped out once. Not hard, not fast, just precise. It touched her shoulder exactly where her weight was moving. Lena stumbled, not fell. Stumbled. The ring reacted before she recovered. Chairs scraped. A breath left the room all at once. This wasn't damage. This was interruption. Lena reset quickly, eyes locked on him. No anger, no embarrassment. Focus sharpened by something new. She circled now, changing angles, throwing feints instead of force. Bruce matched her pace without chasing. Every exchange ended with space between them, as if the ring itself insisted on distance. She landed another kick. He answered with nothing. She landed a hand. He absorbed it. Then, without warning, he stepped in and touched her lead thigh with his shin. Light, controlled. A message, not a weapon. Lena felt it travel up her leg. The bell rang. Round two ended with both fighters standing near center ring, breathing heavier than before, eyes steady, neither claiming ground. But the crowd wasn't set the same. They were quieter now, closer, watching for something they hadn't expected to see. For the first time that night, no one spoke about how this was supposed to end. The third round opened differently, not slower, sharper. Lena closed distance immediately, cutting off Bruce's angle instead of chasing him. She reached for the clinch this time, forearms sliding toward his neck, trying to lock him into a place where choices disappear. Bruce lowered his center, framed with his arms. He didn't fight the grip. He redirected it. A knee came up. It glanced instead of landing. Another followed. He turned with it again. They separated for half a breath. Lena stepped back in and threw an elbow. Short and tight. Bruce shifted just enough for it to scrape past. Heat flashed across his brow. Blood appeared. Not much. Enough. The ring reacted instantly. A ripple of sound moved through the crowd. The referee stepped closer without meaning to. Lena saw it. Bruce felt it. This was the moment the room had been waiting for. Lena pressed. Another elbow came through. Bruce blocked high, then low, then stepped inside her range. Their shoulders brushed, balance overlapped, weight shifted forward. For the first time all night, the opening was real. A strike here would land clean. A finish would be justified. The ring went silent. Bruce paused. Not long, just long enough for the decision to exist. Lena felt it too. She looked at his eyes, expecting calculation. She saw restraint. Bruce disengaged. One step back, hands still open. The crowd didn't know how to react. Relief tangled with confusion. Someone laughed once, nervously, then stopped. Lena stared at him. Not anger, not gratitude, recognition. She nodded once and surged forward, throwing everything left in the round. Kicks to the body, hands to the head, elbows that forced Bruce to keep moving. He defended each one, blocked, slipped, absorbed. No counters, no punishment. When the bell rang, Lena stood breathing hard, sweat streaking down her neck. Bruce returned to his corner with blood still visible, expression unchanged. The referee glanced between them, unsettled. Something irreversible had just happened. Not on the scorecards. In the way the ring understood him now, the fourth round didn't explode. It tightened. Lena slowed her pace, circling wider now, forcing Bruce to turn with her. She wasn't hunting damage anymore. She was testing limits, his and her own. Every step was deliberate. Every feint carried a question. Bruce stayed centered, adjusting in half steps. The cut above his brow had darkened again, blood tracing a thin line before he wiped it away without breaking eye contact. The crowd noticed. They always did when something became visible. Lena attacked the leg harder this time. The kick landed with weight behind it. Bruce checked late. The impact echoed. His stance dipped just enough to be real. No gasp came from the crowd. They watched. Lena followed with a knee. Bruce absorbed it, turned, and guided her momentum past him. Their shoulders brushed. Brief, intimate. The kind of contact that only happens when two fighters are reading each other faster than anyone else can follow. She reset and came again with a combination meant to force an ending. Hands first, then elbow. Bruce blocked high, then low, then shifted inside the final strike. His forearm pressed lightly against her collarbone. Another opening, this one lasted longer. The referee leaned forward. Trainers stood. A man at ringside raised his hand without knowing why. Bruce's eyes never left Lena's sips. He could feel the room pressing in. Expectation, relief, outrage waiting its turn. All of it balanced on the same decision. He didn't step back. He stepped aside. Lena stumbled past him and caught herself on the ropes. Not hurt, not saved, just displaced. The crowd broke, voices overlapping, unsure what they had witnessed. Some thought they'd seen mercy. Others thought they'd seen control. Lena turned slowly, breathing hard now, chest rising with effort she hadn't expected to give. Her expression shifted. The aggression was still there, but beneath it lived something heavier. Respect. She nodded once, smaller than before. The bell rang. Round 4 ended without a finish, without a fall, without relief. But when both fighters returned to center, neither of them looked the same as they had minutes earlier. The ring knew it, and it waited to see what they would do with it. The final round began without a rush. No one spoke. No one shifted in their seat. Lena stepped forward first, shoulders tight now, breath heavier, eyes sharp with urgency. She threw a kick to the body that landed clean. Bruce absorbed it and stayed upright. Another kick followed. Then hands, then a knee that forced him to turn hard on his lead foot. The ring reacted. This was pressure. Real pressure. Lena pressed again, cutting off space, forcing exchanges. Bruce blocked, slipped, absorbed. His leg wavered once more, clear enough this time for the crowd to see. A murmur rose. The referee stepped closer. Lena saw the opening. She stepped in fast. Elbow loaded, weight committed. The strike was there. The finish was there. Everything the room had been waiting for narrowed into that single moment. Bruce moved inside the line. Not fast, not desperate. He closed the distance before the elbow could complete its path. For a heartbeat, they were chest to chest, balance shared, breath audible. Bruce stopped. He didn't strike. He didn't set push. He lowered his hands. The ring froze. Lena felt it instantly. The choice, the refusal to turn opportunity into humiliation. She halted too, her elbow suspended for a fraction longer than made sense. The bell rang late, or maybe early. No one was sure. The referee hesitated, then waved it off. He looked between them, confused by what he hadn't been trained to judge. The decision barely mattered when it came. Words were said, hands were raised. Most people didn't notice. They were watching the fighters. Lena exhaled slowly and reached up, untying the cloth from her arm. She stepped forward and placed it into Bruce's hands. No announcement, no explanation. Bruce accepted it without ceremony. He bowed once, deep, controlled. Lena returned the bow. Around them, The ring felt different, quieter, smaller. The noise that had filled it earlier had nowhere to land now. Bruce stepped through the ropes and walked away without looking back. No celebration followed him. No argument chased him. Behind him, Lena remained in the ring, still undefeated, still standing, respected in a way the crowd hadn't expected to learn. By the time the lights dimmed, no one was asking who had won. They already knew what they had witnessed.